Welcome to the City Lifestyle Podcast, Vegas edition, where we're covering the people, the places, and the events that make up our community. We're glad you're here. Welcome to Sit Downs with City Lifestyle, Vegas edition. My name's Chrissy Bound, owner of Henderson City Lifestyle magazine, and I'm here with my neighbor,
Chad Jeffrey, South Vegas City Lifestyle, and today we have
Dr. Truman from Truman Orthodontics. So we are super excited. Along with our Red Rock partner, Camilla Duran, we have rolled out our Meet the Partners series. So I don't know about you guys, but I love biographies. I love hearing people's stories. And that's a huge part of what we do at the magazines is storytelling. So we hope that you guys are enjoying this new series that we rolled out. And Dr. Truman, we're so excited to have you today.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
I'm super excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So the name probably sounds familiar to most of our people that are listening or watching. I think if you've driven around town at all, people have likely seen your bumper stickers, which have kind of become a little bit of a movement here in Las Vegas.
I'll tell you, the thing about the bumper stickers, if ever I introduce myself to somebody that I don't know, oh, I see your bumper stickers.
Of course.
They're like, yeah, I know who you are. I see your bumper stickers. I'm like, oh, thanks. So, no, it's awesome. It was that was developed from one of my staff members, one of the team members, and it was, you know, it's just an idea, and sometimes you have great ideas, and this one's just worked. Over the years, it's just kind of become ubiquitous throughout the city.
Yeah,
So,
you have a squad you've created there at Truman Orthodontics, and the name of the squad is the True Crew, right?
True Crew, yeah. I didn't name it, but I think it's a great name. It's a pretty tight group. We love each other and we work well together. So
I love it. I mean, the bumper stickers worked for one of our City Lifestyle people here.
Time out. Yeah, I'm technically a new patient. My daughter's there right now. When do I get my bumper sticker?
Well, you should have your bumper sticker already. We typically give that out at the first appointment. If it's not in that paperwork, then feel free to come by and we'll get you as many as you want, actually.
Well, the good thing is we're there tomorrow, so I'll make sure to ask. I'll ask the front desk. But kind of like jumping straight into it. So as I just mentioned, like my daughter's there. I actually have a photo here right now that we can throw up on the screen of kind of like how quickly this can work, right? So on the right, my daughter has big teeth. Like as we're going to her pediatric dentist, they're concerned about growth coming in and whatnot. So they said, hey, like let's go figure out how to get a consult, understand like when it makes sense, right? And one of the things about that process is I was given a sheet of 10 or 12 different orthodontists in town, right? So everyone all the way up from North Las Vegas down to Henderson of, hey, these are people we recommend. And as I'm digging through there, one of the things I'm looking at is like, where do I even start? Yeah. So going back to the bumper stickers, like how do I choose? Like it was really easy for me to go, hey, I already know this brand. Like I already know this person. Like instead of going through 10 different review sites and whatnot, it was just like, I know the brand, I see the consistency of it. My first call was to you guys. Like we literally stopped by and we're like, hey, what's going on? Got in, the braces went on the same day as our consult. So it was insane. Cool. And now like you see how quickly your teeth have already shifted.
That's what I love about these youngsters. Their teeth move very, very quickly. It's kind of nice.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask, so did you always know that you wanted to be an orthodontist, or how did this come to be?
Well, that's a great story. When I was first married, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, and I was talking to my dad, and I was like, I want to be an artist, and he's like, well, you can be an artist, but what do you really want to do with your life? So I was like, I think I'd like to be a dentist. So I had a really good friendly friend that was a dentist. We went and I shadowed him, and I spent a lot of time there, and I was like, I can do this. This is a great job. Then I got to dental school and I came home and I freaked my wife out. I said, I can't be a dentist. She's like, well, you're going to be a dentist. It's like the boats are burned. You know, we're going to be a dentist. And so what I started to do was I went around at dental school and I started kind of looking in all the specialties places, and I just fell in love with ortho. It's a great job. It's I work with people that are young, people that are healthy. I don't really hurt people. Like you're not in pain. It's debatable, but we don't do it. We don't hurt people in the office, right? And then at the end of the day, it's people are super happy with the results. So
I mean, I really got that feeling when I went into your office. Your office is a vibe, and everything, like you can tell that you put a lot of detail into every single aspect of your office, down to your candy wall and the pictures and the games that you have for kids to play. Like all of those things are, I think, comforting for children that might be going in to experience something that's a little scary if they've never done it before. I mean, I'm sure Ellie felt that way when she went in there. It's like, hey, this place isn't so bad. There's games for me to play.
Well, yeah, I mean, she was like excited because she wanted her teeth to look a little straighter. But again, kind of going into the chair, you got a little uncomfortable. But I mean, your guys' staff is incredible. So the way my daughter's 8 years old, the way you guys treat her, like take care of her. I mean, it's like a nice little family in there that, yeah, like the games, like everything just feels like, I mean, kid oriented. Obviously, you guys deal with adults too, but it's just like looking at how do you make that as easy and comfortable as a process where most people hate people in their mouth. Like, it's just not fun.
I'm so glad to hear that you guys thought that way. It's our goal. What I've found is that we have, and in the profession in general, we've gotten a lot better of kind of keeping people from getting sensitized to hating going to the dentist. It used to be, when I started my career, people would show up and they're terrified of us. And so we spend a lot of time, a lot of energy. Our goal with every experience, from the first phone call to the follow-up phone calls, is that you feel comfortable coming. And we recognize that there are a lot of youngsters that get anxious, and even adults. And so we spend a lot of time trying to get to know them. Within reason, we want to get to know them and make them feel comfortable when they come. And when anybody comes, it just makes it easier for everybody. And that's where you have your good experiences. That's where you have your personal experiences. I've always thought that my job is, the great thing about my job is you get to know really good families. The worst thing about it is after 2 years, they go away and you don't get to see them anymore. But that's our goal when you contact our office, is we want you to feel comfortable about coming.
Yeah.
So,
what's the biggest misconception people have about going to an orthodontist?
Well, one of the biggest ones is, I've found people, they say, I don't really feel like my son or daughter need orthodontics. And I always joke, I say, well, you're talking to an orthodontist. I'm going to find something that we want to straighten out. But I do believe that we have this reputation, is we present treatment on a very individual basis. We take complimentary photos and x-rays. We take scans of their teeth. And we sit down and I can point out exactly what we can do. And I also feel that we don't try to oversell something. Obviously, we want to treat you. Obviously, we want, to have optimal oral health. But there's a reason I'm not a cardiac surgeon. Nobody dies if you don't get braces. But I would say that's one of the big, especially with the adults and some of the older children. And then with the youngsters, it's, is it going to hurt? What's it going to feel like? Yeah. And what can I eat? And some of those things that we have to work through. Yeah. So,
I mean, I think that's one thing that's interesting too, because a lot of times when people think of orthodontics, they think of kids, kids going to get braces, but you have a lot of adult patients as well, right?
Oh yeah. I would say almost, I don't know the exact numbers, but I would guess between 25 to 30% of my patients are adults.
Good amount.
Yeah. Which is interesting. I didn't ever think it would be that.
Yeah.
What we found is that, especially with the advent of clear aligners such as Invisalign, and the reality is we really saw a surge after the pandemic when everybody was looking at themselves on the screen. And,
terrifying for all of us.
And we had a lot of, and you're also wearing a mask, so we saw an uptick there. But it's very common. One of the other things that we can really do is set up general dentists for kind of optimal restorations. Like if we have some minor tooth straightening, they can make the crowns and the veneers look really good instead of kind of good. So that's another big aspect of what we do, especially with our adult patients.
When you guys have your True Smiles, so tell us a little bit about the True Smiles.
Are you talking about the True Smile product that we have? Yeah, it was designed. There was a company out there that was. It was where you would send a scan in. It's called, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's now gone out of business. But they were straightening people's teeth without the supervision of a professional, and so we designed that to kind of compete with that, because I feel very strongly, and it's not just because of it. the market share issue. I feel very strongly that if you're getting your teeth straightened, even though I'm not a cardiac surgeon, you do need somebody watching the function and the alignment and things. So we designed this product, and it's an in-house aligner product, very similar to Invisalign, that allows us to straighten teeth within that the price range and then the treatment time range. We found that it's very effective. We found that it's good kind of for everybody. It's something nice that we're able to offer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had to say, obviously, along with the vibe and just the comfort that your staff provides, is there anything that really, sets you apart from other orthodontics here in town?
Well, I don't want to disparage anybody. I feel like straightening teeth, you can get that done. What our goal and what we work significantly for is the personal experience. You're going to come to the office. You're going to see me every time. We're going to, as much as possible, finish within the time frame that we said, and then we do a lot of, like I say, there's a lot of. It's kind of, we want to feel like family, so there's a lot of support that we will provide for our patients, and we work together with a lot of their teams, their organizations, and things like that. So
I feel like that would be comforting even for an adult going in, knowing that they're going to see you every single time. Because especially with something like this that might be a little uncomfortable, having that familiar face, I think makes a difference. Even as an adult, it can be a little scary. So I know community is a huge thing for you too. You've done a ton to give back to this community. So share a little bit about some of those things that you like to participate in here around town.
Well, one of the things, I mean, obviously we really, really like working in the schools, and we've done it a lot. We spend a lot of time in our local schools. We spend a lot of resources helping. One of the things that I found that kind of touched my heart is, there's an organization that serves homeless teenagers in the valley, and we've done drives and things. But one of the experiences that I had is as I went with some of my key staff members and the management team, and we actually went and delivered some of the things that we were able to collect. And they ran through and talked to some about the statistics and some of the things for some of these youth. And these aren't kids that are, their parents aren't bringing them in to get braces, and they're not bringing them in to get Invisalign. They're on the streets. And to me that was touching. And so we're very proud of that. We're very proud to be a part of that. And there's several of them, but that to me was kind of one of the more kind of eye-opening and touching experiences for me. And it really makes me feel good, and it makes our team feel really good.
Absolutely. I love that.
I want to go back to the adult side, right?
Okay.
Not to be self-conscious
I know,
over
we're
here.
don't look at our teeth right now.
When your adult patients are coming in, is there normally a trigger or something where they're like, hey, I'm either just not happy with it? What's kind of that driving force for adults to be coming in?
What I've found mostly for adults is they have been considering it over for typically it's months, but sometimes it's years. I really don't like this. I really don't like this about my teeth. I really don't like this about my teeth. But to me, it's kind of a long-term, wanting to get things back. A lot of times with our adult patients, they'll tell themselves, when my child's done with their braces, then I'm going to do mine, and that's also a very kind of a trigger for them, because they get to know us, and we rub shoulders. Typically, we'll spend 2 years or 18 months together. Every 6 weeks, we're talking for a couple of minutes, so they'll get to know you, and they'll say, I've been thinking about this. So that's also a big trigger. One of the other big reasons an adult would come is kind of preparatory for certain treatments that their dentist they want to make it optimal, and so they'll send them in to see us. So
looking at all the different options you guys have, right? True Smiles, traditional metal brackets. What do you see adults gravitate towards more, or is it more based on exactly what they need and what they feel comfortable with?
It's mostly clear aligner therapy. And there's some cases where the great thing about it is the research and development with the clear aligner therapy, your Invisaligns, is that with most cases, you can get an ideal treatment. There are sometimes you have to put some brackets on in certain areas to kind of align things, but I would say almost exclusively, it's clear aligner. And I'll say, look, Invisalign or True Smile is great because you can take it off to eat and brush and floss, but it's terrible because you can take it off. You know, it's got to be in. Yeah. It's got to be in 22 hours a day. And then I'll say, if you were 12, we would have a lot longer conversation about this. But you know, you're here, you're paying for it. You understand that if it's not in your mouth, it doesn't work. And sometimes I'll have patients, adult patients, that say, well, yeah, I don't think I can do that. And I was like, well, that's a very mature decision. We're just going to take that Invisalign off the table, and we'll do the braces. But it's almost exclusively Invisalign, and it's a great product. I enjoy working with, you know, my Invisalign patients. They don't have to come see us quite as often, but you know, instead of every 6 to 8 weeks, they're in every 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
So
you just said, like, adults normally wait till they feel a little bit more comfortable before they send their kids there. Like, I feel like I would be the opposite. I'm just like, if I needed it right now, I would jump in and make sure, like, I'm more comfortable with the process than throwing my 8-year-old daughter at you to start with, right? Like,
that's actually a good point.
Talk to me about that process. Like, why aren't they just jumping in at the same time to do it?
I don't. That's a question. Most of the time, people are like, this is what I've found, and I could, you know, this is not from any studies that I've done. Most people are, I really don't need it, but I want it. I really don't need it, but I want it. And I've had some people come and say, you know, I have this one tooth, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, it looks pretty good, and it looks good on the scan, but when I take a picture, it looks like, you know, because it's set back, there's a shadow, and I've heard that. What's that?
Guilty.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Me.
So you know,
yes, I know exactly what you're saying.
And as an orthodontist, I'm like, that's not a lot of work that it's going to take. And so I think that they kind of talk themselves into, you know, I've already done this before. You know, this is a quote unquote kids place. This is where people come with their children. They don't, you know, adults really don't do this. And so they kind of get their feet wet with their kids, and then they'll end up doing. I guess. I mean, that's what I think.
Yeah.
As far as,
I mean, she just needed them. We're like, we got to get you in.
I wanted them when I was growing up. I wanted braces because it was kind of cool when you were growing up and you got to change your colors and everything. And I mean, I grew up in the 90s, so different time. But, you know, everyone had like cool colors for the holidays and like would switch everything out. And I really wanted them. But I used to put those little, what is it, the squeeze it tops over my mouth just to pretend I had them. So I could fit it.
Braces,
yes. It was so funny. Yeah. But so braces were cool when we were growing up. So.
It's still kind of cool. What I found, to be honest, when you speak about those colors, now that we have these professional teams like the Knights and the Raiders, you know, we ran out of the black and the silver and the black and the gold.
I bet
a lot. Yeah,
I bet.
You know, in December it's orange and black, and in Christmas it's green and red.
Yep.
And now we've got Knights and Raiders, so it's kind of cool.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Truman, is there anything else that you would want people to know in our city that they might not know about you?
You know, I don't know what that would be.
This is not the time to be humble.
Well, I feel like we have the best practice in town, but of course that's me. You know, I feel like we produce a very good product. I feel like that people that come to the office feel at home, and that's been our goal. We have a great team. We have a great staff and employees that work there, and I can't thank them enough for their professionalism and the things that they do to make the office what it is. So my invitation would be to come see us and try it out.
So Dr. Truman, if people want to reach out to you guys, how would they go about doing that?
Well, you can reach out to us all kinds of ways. We're on the web, obviously, trumanortho.com. You can call or text 702-221-2272, and would love to hear from you. Yeah, awesome. We'd love to have you in the office.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate you making the time to join us today. Yeah. And thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
It's been fun. Thank you.